So the US has officially deposed President Nicolas Maduro, the socialist dictator of Venezuela. And unless you are Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, or an American leftist, this is a win. A big win. But sadly, the cronies in the Democrat Party are once again calling Trump's act illegal or questioning the constitutionality of this military action. I honestly believe that if Trump overthrew Lucifer himself, that Democrats would protest with signs that say like, "We stand with the demons." I really, really do. Meanwhile, Venezuelans are currently celebrating in the streets of Caracas. Play clip. 80% of Venezuelans wanted Maduro gone, and the rest of them were just too scared to speak out. So why are Venezuelans so elated to see Maduro in handcuffs? Let's harken back to how its citizens became so desperate that they resorted to eating zoo animals. I'm not kidding. It starts with one simple word: socialism. In the 1950s, Venezuela was the wealthiest nation in South America. Now that's partially due to Europe's manufacturing industry was just in shambles after World War II, but mostly because they were sitting on a gold mine. Well, black gold to be precise. Venezuela has the largest oil reserves on planet Earth, 300 billion barrels of crude oil. Times were rolling, the economy was flourishing. Now, fast forward to 1999, Hugo Chavez has just won the election by promising to share the country's oil profits with its citizens. Hugo Chavez was a socialist and protege to communist dictator Fidel Castro of Cuba. So Chavez takes power, and one of his first acts as president is to nationalize the oil industry. He also nationalized other sectors of the economy, but for now let's just focus on the petro industry. Chavez, being very anti-American, also demanded that the multinational oil companies who were operating in Venezuela must now pay extortion money to the government. So naturally, gas companies like Shell, Chevron, and BP fled the country. Chavez turned to the nation's state-owned oil company, PDVSA, and just like every single government-controlled enterprise in history, it failed. Quality went down, profits hit rock bottom, and a country that once exported 3.5 million barrels of oil daily in 1973 now distributes less than 600,000. Now, Venezuela was heavily reliant on its oil industry. Even today, the nation still hasn't diversified its economy. Oil and petroleum account for 95% of its export revenue. Chavez, promising massive socialist handouts, drove the nation into debt, with volatile oil prices creating uncertainty. This is an economic theory called Dutch disease. Basically, when a country doesn't diversify their economy, they're reliant on one industry, and all other industries just become neglected. Now, Hugo Chavez, in 2013, made his greatest contribution to society. He died, and was replaced by his vice president, a man with less charisma but just as much of the socialism, Nicolas Maduro. Maduro was forced to address the nation's debt crisis, so he resorted to the dumbest option imaginable: printing money. And not only did he print money, he printed a shitload of money. By 2019, Venezuela hit a hyperinflation record of 63,000%, according to Statista. 63,000%. The bolivar is so depreciated that people use it to make paper mache. The paper itself is worth more than the currency. So now Maduro citizens are starving, the country is flat broke, except for himself. Like all good communists, he lives a very lavish lifestyle. Here he is sporting a $70,000 Rolex. Nice. Meanwhile, and this is pretty disgusting, the government distributes rabbits to homes so Venezuelans can eat the babies. Over 7 million people have fled the country since 1999, one of the largest humanitarian crises on the planet, many of them to the United States. Isn't it so ironic how refugees never seem to flee capitalist nations for socialist nations? It's always the other way around. Someone should ask Bernie Sanders or AOC that question. Nicolas Maduro is so unpopular that he had to steal 2 elections. Most of the international community doesn't even recognize Maduro as the rightful president of Venezuela. He's been accused of leading Cartel de las Soles, the same drug cartel that's shipping fentanyl to the United States, on what MSNBC calls the infamous fishing boats. Maduro is a horrible person. And if you thought that Democrats in the media couldn't be any more biased, here's the bounty for $25 million to capture Maduro, issued by wait for it, the Biden regime in 2020. But remember, it's only offensive when Trump does it.
Nicolas Maduro was indicted in 2020 in the United States. He is not the legitimate president of Venezuela. That's not just us saying it. The first Trump administration, the Biden administration, the second Trump administration, none of those three recognized him. He's not recognized by the European Union and multiple countries around the world. He is a fugitive of American justice with a $50 million reward, which I guess we saved $50 million. And
we should make sure.
Yeah, exactly. But
don't let anybody claim it.
Now, I want to end with the legality of this situation. This is not a war. Trump did not declare war on the nation of Venezuela without congressional approval. This was a swift military procedure to capture a terrorist thug who was holding a nation hostage. This operation lasted 3 hours, with the assistance of dissenters inside the Venezuelan government. It does not violate the War Powers Act of 1973, which gives the commander-in-chief 60 days to conduct military operations without Congress interjecting. Outstanding work by the Trump administration and the military. Great job. If you enjoyed that clip, please hit the subscribe button. Thanks.